No sin goes unpunished in this life.
In the beginning, we see a man lying on the ground, almost dying. He's Jimmy. He speaks about his regrets. He says his life has been full of betrayal, killing, and letting down his loved ones. 16 hours earlier, Jimmy wakes up in his usual bar. He goes to the bar owner, Danny's office. Danny is joking with two cops. He hands them the bribe money. It is a monthly payout to cover their illegal businesses. After the cops leave, Jimmy approaches Danny. He says that Sean told him to borrow $800 from him. Danny is uneasy at first. He thinks about why his father is still helping this useless drunkard. He then snarkily agrees, but only if Jimmy plays Santa at their Christmas party. Jimmy reluctantly accepts. Later, Danny meets his father, Sean. Danny introduces him to some Albanian traffickers. They want protection and safe passage for their drugs through the ports. Sean refuses. He says his days as a mobster are over. He says he now runs only legal businesses and tells them to get out.
Take this shit with you.
The Albanians demand their money back from Danny. They threaten to kill Danny if he does not return it by tonight. Danny says he will persuade his father to accept the offer. At Sean's Christmas party, Jimmy drinks too much. He acts inappropriately in front of the families. Sean checks on him. Sean is Jimmy's only friend. He is the last person who still cares about him. Jimmy admits that he is losing sleep because of all the people he killed. He says he drinks to numb the regret of killing so many while working for Sean. In another scene, Michael is at the boxing gym. He is practicing in the ring. Michael is a retired professional boxer. He now helps younger kids without fathers train at the gym. He provides for his wife Gabriella and their two daughters by working as a limousine driver. He has a strained relationship with Jimmy. He does not want to see him. He is even disgusted by his father's actions. He refuses to call him Dad. He does not involve himself in the lives of his daughters. That night, Michael's clients are the Albanian mobsters. They are going to Danny's place to collect their money. Michael is told to stay in the car and wait. Then he comes across one of the kids from the gym, nicknamed Legs. Legs asks to sit in the car so he can take pictures in a limo, and Michael eventually agrees. Inside Danny's house, the Albanians confront him. Danny and his bestie are high on drugs. He gives them a duffel bag with money, but it turns out to be fake Monopoly bills. The Albanian boss gets angry, but Danny quickly pulls out a gun and shoots him. He shoots the others too, although one manages to run outside to the street. At the same time, Legs sees this and records it on his phone from the car. He tells Michael to look. Danny follows the man into the street and shoots him. Michael tells Legs to duck under the back seat while he starts the car. But Danny notices him and smashes the window before Michael can drive away. Michael tries to reason with him. He says he is Michael and reminds Danny that they have known each other since childhood.
Danny, it's Mike.
This does not stop Danny. He drags Michael out of the car and pulls him toward the house. Inside, Michael fights back. He manages to escape through the back door. Danny pursues him, but he loses him in the busy street. Then, Danny's friend finds Michael's wallet in his jacket. He shows it to Danny, and together they decide to go to Michael's address, which is listed on his ID card. Meanwhile, at his house, Jimmy gets a call from Sean. Sean tells him about Michael's involvement with Danny. Jimmy immediately takes a gun hidden in the kitchen and heads to Michael's house. At the same time, Michael arrives home and calls Gabriella. He tells her not to return from her brother's house until he says it is safe. A short time later, someone knocks at the door. It is Jimmy, and Michael reluctantly lets him in. Jimmy explains that Sean would prefer if Michael did not go to the police because it would put him and his family in danger. They talk about their strained relationship. Michael says he sees his father as trash for being a hitman. He reminds him that he only came home when his mother died, and that now he only shows up because Sean ordered it. Jimmy says that Sean is willing to pay him well for his silence, but Michael still refuses. Meanwhile, Sean wants his son to wait before taking any action until Jimmy reports back. Sean calls Danny, who agrees to listen, but he has already gone to Michael's house with his best friend. He plans to kill Michael even though his father told him not to. As Jimmy leaves, Danny sneaks in through the back door. On his way out, Jimmy notices Danny's car outside and quickly turns back. Inside, Michael sees Danny in the mirror. Danny is about to shoot him, but Jimmy fires first. Danny's friend runs away. Michael is shocked and says he wants to call the police, but Jimmy warns him that it would be a mistake because he knows how the local cops operate. Then, Jimmy calls Sean. He explains that he had no choice but to kill Danny because Danny tried to shoot Michael. Jimmy hopes Sean will understand, but instead, they both realize that Sean will take revenge and that their friendship is over. After the call, Michael forces Jimmy out of the house. Then he calls the cops. He reports that there has been a shooting and that his father killed a man in self-defense. Soon, 2 officers arrive. They are the same ones who work for Sean. They begin to arrest Michael, which leaves him stunned. Outside, Jimmy waits in his car and watches. The officers report that the suspect killed a man inside and escaped. It becomes clear that the corrupt cops plan to take him somewhere else and frame him for the murder. Then, one of Sean's men pulls up beside the police car and tells the officers to follow him. As the police car nears its destination, Jimmy crashes into it, forcing an intense chase to begin. The vehicles ram into each other, and shots are fired until the officers lose control and smash into a store. Jimmy rushes to the wreck and pulls Michael out of the back seat. Michael quickly picks up one of the officers' guns lying on the ground. Then, as they try to escape, one officer gets back up and starts shooting at them. Michael wants to fire back, but Jimmy stops him and takes the shot himself, killing the officer. More cops and Sean's men begin to pursue them. The father and son run through heavy traffic and make their way into a subway station. Inside, Jimmy is caught by Frank, one of Sean's men. They fight while Michael walks toward the platform and steps onto a train. Jimmy continues the struggle and eventually strangles Frank to death. Michael's train is about to leave when he sees his father and calls him inside. During the ride, Jimmy explains what Sean will do next as he's known him his entire life. He says Sean will gather his men and destroy Michael's life. He tells him that Sean would have already ordered the bodies of the Albanian mobsters to be placed in Michael's limo so the police will find them. Jimmy warns that even honest officers will not help, because Michael is accused of killing a cop, and because he is the son of a hitman the police have been trying to prosecute for years. Jimmy asks Michael to let him handle things for one night.
Listen to your father for one night.
He promises that after this, Michael will never have to see him again. Sean interrogates Danny's best friend, the one who escaped from Jimmy. He comforts the boy with a hug, unsurprisingly, then he stabs him in the back and kills him. Later, Jimmy and Michael get off the train and walk into a parking lot. Jimmy breaks into a car using only a shoelace, which surprises Michael. Jimmy tells him to go to his brother-in-law's house and make sure his family is safe. He says he will try to talk to Sean and make a deal, and asks Michael to wait until he contacts him again. At Ricky's house, Gabriella is asleep when Ricky wakes her up. He shows her the news report saying that Michael and Jimmy are now fugitives. Not long after, Michael arrives. Gabriella and Ricky confront him, but Michael quickly explains the situation and asks his wife to trust him to fix it. Then they hear loud banging on the front door. Michael tells Ricky to act as if he has never seen him or his family. Michael and Gabriella rush to their daughter's room. They tell the children that they are going to play hide and seek. At the same time, Sean's men break into Ricky's house looking for them. Ricky insists that he has not seen Michael or his family, but he has no time to clean up the traces of their presence. The chicken nuggets the kids ate and the warm blankets are still there. One of Sean's men keeps questioning Ricky, while the other searches the rooms. Michael and his family hide inside a bathtub. Fortunately, the men receive a call to go somewhere else and leave the house. Back at the scene of the officer's death, Detective Harding is leading the investigation. His partner tells him that Danny has been found dead in Michael's house, and that Michael reported his father as the killer. Then, Harding receives a call from Jimmy. Jimmy asks for his help to clear Michael's name, saying that Harding is the only cop he can trust.
I need your help.
I am the last person on this earth that you should be asking help from.
You're the only cop I can trust.
Jimmy offers to prove that Michael did not kill anyone. He agrees to turn himself in for the murders of the 2 officers and promises to give Harding a list of all the people he killed during his career. Harding reluctantly agrees to give Michael a chance, but Jimmy says he needs more time to fix the situation before surrendering. Afterwards, Jimmy takes a cab to a restaurant in the city to meet Sean. He apologizes for killing Danny and begs Sean to spare Michael's life, because Michael was not the one who pulled the trigger. Sean refuses. Jimmy then threatens to expose Sean's crimes to the police, including the murders he ordered. But Sean is unmoved, reminding him that many cops are already on his payroll. He tells Jimmy that he will stop at nothing to kill Michael, so that Jimmy will know what it feels like to lose a son, just as Sean and his wife have lost theirs.
And I'm gonna see how empty they are. without your son in the world.
When the conversation ends, Jimmy waits until the hockey game finishes. Then he leaves the restaurant, hitting one of the henchmen, and disappears into the crowd. Jimmy goes to Ricky's house and tells Michael to take his family to a cabin in the woods, a place he used to visit as a child. The kids see Jimmy outside and ask their father who he is, but Michael replies that he is nobody. Michael gives Ricky the directions, and Ricky drives Gabriella and the children to the cabin while Michael stays behind. Jimmy insists that Michael should have gone with them for his own safety, but Michael refuses. He says he wants to help and plans to meet Legs, who can prove his innocence because he saw and recorded everything. Then, the two head toward Legs' neighborhood. On the way, Jimmy explains how he had to leave Michael and his mother in the past to protect them. At the same time, Sean sees his son's body in the morgue. He decides to hire a professional hitman named Price to kill Jimmy. He gives him 24 hours and offers double payment. Price replies that if the target is Jimmy, he would gladly do the job for free. Price sneaks into Jimmy's house and discovers the cabin in an old photograph. At Legs' apartment, Jimmy and Michael try to find his unit by asking neighbors. One of them recognizes them and calls 911. The police soon arrive and begin evacuating the building to search for them. Michael identifies Legs' brother and tells him that he needs Legs' help, but they realize the police are closing in and Legs is not there. Price hears the report on his scanner and heads to the building. He shuts down the power, forcing an evacuation. Michael and Jimmy use the outage to blend in with the crowd, but Price tracks them with night vision goggles. After dodging Price's shots, Jimmy tells Michael to escape while he handles the assassin. He warns him that Price is extremely dangerous. Jimmy lures Price toward himself, and they begin to fight. Michael decides to return and help his father. Coming from another direction, Michael points a gun at Price, but Jimmy tells him not to fire. Together, they escape through the balcony without killing Price. Detective Harding sees them and notices that someone is shooting at them. Michael and Jimmy manage to get away from the police and reach Jimmy's brother, Eddie's house. Michael helps Jimmy dress his wound while Eddie asks what is happening. Eddie is shocked to hear that they are fighting against Sean. He reminds Jimmy that he once killed his own cousin to stop him from talking to the police, and questions whether he will now hand Michael over to Sean. Michael is furious when he learns this and decides to go to the cabin alone. Jimmy chooses to visit his mother in the hospital before facing Sean. Jimmy calls Sean to give him one last chance to stop chasing Michael, but Sean refuses. Jimmy tells him that he is going to kill him, then walks into Sean's pub. He shoots all of Sean's men until Sean runs away toward the train yard. The two exchange gunfire until Jimmy finally shoots his former friend. He holds Sean in his arms as he dies. The next morning, Detective Harding is visited by Legs. Legs gives him the video showing Danny killing the Albanian. Harding also receives a call from Michael, who says he wants to turn himself in. Meanwhile, Jimmy heads to the cabin, carrying a list of the names of his past victims. When he arrives, Michael tells him that the police are on their way and asks him to leave. Jimmy says he is too old to run and will wait for them. He asks if he can sit inside, but Michael refuses, saying his children are there. Jimmy tells his son not to worry about Sean anymore. Gabriella comes out and finally introduces herself and the daughters to Jimmy. Michael understands that his father plans to surrender. He takes his family to the lake so the children will not see the arrest. Jimmy smiles as he watches them, but suddenly Price shoots him from behind. Price has been hunting him all along. Michael tells his family to run and goes to help his father. Jimmy takes a hidden shotgun from the house and fights Price in the woods. He is shot one more time and cannot move. This is the moment shown at the beginning of the film. At the same time, Michael hunts Price, who is closing in on his daughters. Michael runs out of bullets and hides behind a tree. Price takes aim and is about to shoot him. Using his last strength, Jimmy loads his shotgun and kills Price just before he can fire at Michael. Michael rushes to his dying father.
Dad? Dad?
Detective Harding arrives and finds Jimmy dead, still holding the list of names in his hand. After everything, Michael returns to his normal life. He works as a boxing coach and provides for his family. Before leaving for work, he pauses to look at a photo of himself and Jimmy in front of the cabin. Well, that's the end of this recap. How did you like this story? Let me know in the comments below.